Why does your brain hate being ignored? You know that feeling, you send a message. They see it and then nothing, no reply, no explanation. Just silence, and somehow that silence can hurt far more than it should. You might tell yourself to relax, maybe they're busy, maybe they forgot, maybe it means absolutely nothing. But your brain doesn't always believe that. Instead, it starts asking questions. Did I say something wrong? Are they angry? Did they lose interest? Why are they ignoring me? And before you know it, one unanswered message has taken over your entire brain. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain may hate being ignored because, for most of human history, being ignored could mean something much more serious than an awkward social moment. It could mean being pushed away from the people you needed to survive. Imagine living thousands of years ago. You don't have a house, you don't have a supermarket, you don't have a phone to call for help. Your survival depends on your group. The people around you help you find food, protect you from danger, and care for you when you're injured. So what happens if the group suddenly stops paying attention to you? That would be a problem. A very big problem. Your ancestors depended on social connection. Being accepted meant safety. Being rejected could mean danger. And your brain may still carry some of that ancient survival system today. That's why being ignored can feel strangely powerful. Your logical brain might know that someone is simply busy, but another part of your brain is asking a much older question. Am I being excluded? And that question can trigger a surprisingly intense reaction. Psychologist Naomi Eisenberger studied what happens in the brain when people experience social exclusion. In one famous experiment called Cyberball, participants believed they were playing a simple online ball-tossing game with other people. At first, everyone included them, then suddenly the other players stopped throwing the ball to them. They were ignored. Even though it was just a simple game, the participants still experienced feelings of social exclusion. Their brains reacted, because to your brain, being left out isn't always just information. It can feel like a threat, and that creates an uncomfortable problem. You can't always see why someone is ignoring you. If someone says, "I'm angry with you," at least you have information. You might not like it, but you know what's happening. Silence is different. Silence gives your brain nothing. So your brain starts filling in the gaps, and unfortunately it often doesn't choose the most comforting explanation. This is called uncertainty. Your brain generally prefers an answer, even a bad one, over having no answer at all. So when someone doesn't respond, your mind becomes a detective. You reread the conversation, you analyze their last message. You remember something embarrassing you said 3 days ago. Suddenly, you're building an entire psychological investigation from one tiny word. Okay. Why did they say okay? Was that a normal okay? Was it an angry okay? Was that the final okay? Your brain is trying to predict what happens next, because uncertainty is uncomfortable. But there's another reason being ignored can hurt. Humans are deeply social creatures. Researcher Matthew Lieberman has argued that the human brain is strongly built for social thinking. You constantly monitor other people, their faces, their voices, their reactions. You want to know what they think of you, even when you pretend that you don't care. And this makes sense. For thousands of generations, understanding other people helped you survive. You needed to know who trusted you, who was dangerous, who would help you, who might leave you behind. Today, you're probably not worried about being abandoned by your tribe on the edge of a forest. But your brain hasn't completely updated its software. Now the tribe might be a friend group, a family, a relationship, a workplace, or even a group chat, and being ignored in that group chat can somehow feel like social death. Especially when everyone else is talking, you send a message. Nothing, then someone else sends a meme. Everyone responds. Suddenly your brain notices something important. They weren't too busy to reply, they just didn't reply to you. And now the ancient alarm system gets louder, but here's the strange part. Being disliked and being ignored are not exactly the same thing. Sometimes being ignored can feel worse. At least if someone argues with you, they're still paying attention. You still exist in their world. Ignoring can create a different feeling. It can make you feel invisible, and humans really don't like feeling invisible. This is why social media can make the problem even more intense. Your phone gives you tiny pieces of social information all day. Seen, delivered, active now, typing. And then nothing? Your brain is suddenly given evidence that someone exists, is awake, is holding their phone, and apparently still isn't answering you. Technology has created a perfect environment for overthinking. Your ancient social brain was never designed to interpret read receipts. It was designed to watch real human faces, but now a tiny blue checkmark can ruin your mood for 3 hours. So what can you do when your brain starts panicking? First, remember that silence is not always rejection. Your brain hates uncertainty, so it tries to create a story, but a story is not the same thing as reality. Someone might be busy, tired, distracted, overwhelmed. Or they may simply not know how to respond. You don't actually know, and that's the difficult part. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop trying to solve a mystery that doesn't have enough evidence. Because your brain is ancient, but your notifications are not. The pain of being ignored may feel personal, and sometimes it is. But sometimes your brain is simply reacting to an old survival fear. The fear of being left out, the fear of not belonging. The fear that the people around you might disappear. So the next time you send a message and stare at your screen waiting for a reply, remember this. You're not just waiting for a notification. For a small part of your brain, you're waiting for proof that you're still included, and maybe that's why being ignored can hurt so much. Not because silence always means you don't matter, but because somewhere deep inside, your ancient brain is still asking the same question your ancestors once depended on for survival. Do I still belong?